In the aftermath of the assassination scare involving Donald Trump, Iran's top diplomat has made a surprising diplomatic push, signaling a renewed attempt to shift the trajectory of the crisis. Abbas Araghchi has returned to Pakistan on April 26 with what is being described as a potential plan to end the ongoing conflict, though questions remain over whether Washington is willing to engage. The proposal was formally shared with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and other top Pakistani leaders and Field Marshal Asim Munir during meetings held on April 25. During these discussions, Araghchi conveyed Tehran's growing concerns about the rapidly evolving and volatile situation across the Middle East. In a post on X, Abbas Araghchi said, and I quote, "Very fruitful visit to Pakistan, whose good offices and brotherly efforts to bring back peace to our region we very much value. Shared Iran's position concerning workable framework to permanently end the war on Iran. Have yet to see if the US is truly serious about diplomacy." End quote. However, shortly after Araghchi departed for Muscat on April 25, President Donald Trump abruptly scrapped a planned diplomatic outreach via Pakistan. US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were instructed not to undertake the 18-hour mission that had been scheduled. Trump later stated, "I told my people you're not going to fly 18 hours, making it clear that the decision came directly from him." He went on to justify the move by asserting, "We hold all the cards," reflecting a firm and uncompromising stance from Washington.
You probably heard that we canceled the trip. We have all the cards. We're not going to spend 15 hours in airplanes all the time going back and forth to be giving a document that was not good enough. And so we'll deal by telephone, and they can call us anytime they want. Again, we have all the cards. They have no military left, practically. They have no leaders left. We don't know who the leaders are. Nobody knows who the leader. I don't think they know who the leaders are, very importantly. So you saw that. And any other questions?
Yes, sir. What have you heard from Pakistan? The Iran's foreign minister was in Pakistan yesterday night.
I think Pakistan is terrific. I think the field marshal is fantastic. I think the Prime Minister of Pakistan is great. And, you know, they'd like to see something happen. But we're not going to be traveling 15, 16 hours to have a meeting with people that nobody ever heard of.
What changed to make you make that decision?
Too much travel. And when they say the meeting's scheduled for Tuesday, I said, Tuesday, that's a long time from now. But when you get right down to it, it's a lot of traveling. No, we don't want to do that.
At what point do you send Witkoff and Kushner and send Vice President Vance in? At what point are you going to be ready?
They're all very competent, all three. Those are three good. But they weren't meeting with the leader of the country. They were meeting with other people. And I said, we're just not going to do it. Too much traveling, takes too long, too expensive. I'm a very cost-conscious person.
Mr. President, you said this week that you're not a fan of prediction markets and that they're turning the country into a casino. But at the same time,
I'm not. Did you say I'm not?
That you're not a fan of prediction markets.
Well, I don't know. I know some people that are very smart. They like it. They disagree, but they like it. But what would you like to know? Who are you with?
I'm with Decrypt, a crypto-focused publication, and we also have a prediction market. And your administration is aggressively pushing to legalize these markets, and I was wondering if you potentially wanted to reconsider that policy.
A lot of other countries are doing it, and when the other countries do it, we get left out in the cold if we don't do it. So, but I know people that are in the prediction market business, and they're pretty.
On the Fed, sir. Crypto. What made you decide to go and attend this Meme Coin conference today?
It's a big industry, and we want to beat China at the industry. We're leading with crypto. We're leading with AI, and I really feel I have an obligation from this. As a president, I have to be able to make sure that all of our industries do well. Crypto is a big industry. It's become somewhat mainstream. The banks have it. People have it, and I think as the leader of the country, we want to lead in AI. And we're leading China by a lot in AI, and we're also leading in crypto.
Do you agree with the decision by Janine Pirro to drop the investigation into Jerome Powell?
Well, I want to find out. You know, it's not dropped because they're looking into the whole thing about.
Refer to the IG.
What I want to look at, with the IG. What I want to look at is, how can a building that I could have done for $25 million cost $4 billion? That's a big thing, and he was in charge. So we'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I think Janine is fantastic. And she worked with other people on that. I tell you, I want to find out. I have an obligation to find out. This was done during Biden, but I have an obligation to find out. I would have done that building for $25 million, had money left over, and it would have been open a long time ago.
Did you or your people ask her to drop it?
because for the country, look, we have a railroad under construction in California. That's the worst thing I've ever seen under Gavin Newsom. And I want to find out why that one is costing 20 times what it was projected to cost. Likewise, the Fed building is a small. I built a hotel in Washington. It's a Waldorf Astoria. I built it for $201 million. And I believe it's bigger than the Fed building. And you have bathrooms, you have a lot of, it's much tougher, much more expensive to build a hotel than an office. I want to find out, how can a building of that size cost for whatever it's going to be? Nobody knows, by the way, what it's going to be. Kevin is going to be fantastic, Kevin Walsh. He may never get to be in that building.
Is it smooth sailing for him now? Will Tillis drop his block?
I would imagine it's smooth, but whether it is or not, somebody has to find out why that building that should have cost $25 million is costing billions of dollars.
Sure, what else?
And you know why they have to find it out? For other buildings, because that's not the only one. I think that's the most egregious example.
What else caused you?
I'll deal with whoever's running the show. I'll deal with whoever runs the show. They don't know. They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting. They're probably fighting for leadership. In many cases, I think they're fighting not to be the leader because we knocked out 2 levels of leaders. But I'll deal with whoever we have to. But there's no reason to wait 2 days, have people traveling for 16, 17 hours. And we're not doing it that way. We'll do it when they want. They can call me. We have all the cards. We've won everything. We have all the cards.
Yesterday you said to Reuters that we're dealing with who is in charge now. What changed from yesterday to today?
Nothing. It's just that they gave us a paper that should have been better. And interestingly, immediately when I canceled it, within 10 minutes we got a new paper that was much better.
What was on that paper, sir? What was? Can you explain?
We talked about they will not have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. Look, that whole deal is not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Very simple.
Did they offer like 20 years on?
Will you continue the ceasefire?
Haven't even thought about it.
Did they offer anything in return to 20 years of suspending enriched uranium?
They offered a lot.
What did they offer?
They offered a lot, but not enough.
This diplomatic fallout comes at a time when Washington itself was shaken by a sudden and alarming security scare. A shooting incident disrupted the White House Correspondents' Dinner, sending shockwaves through what is typically a high-profile and tightly secured gathering. Gunshots were reportedly fired just feet away from a Secret Service checkpoint, raising serious concerns about security lapses. The evening quickly descended into chaos as the shooter managed to breach a layer of security, triggering an emergency response. Both US President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were swiftly evacuated by Secret Service agents as a precaution. Trump later confirmed via a post on Truth Social that the shooter had been apprehended shortly after the incident. Reacting to the incident, Trump said, and I quote, "Quite an evening in DC Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have recommended that we let the show go on, but will entirely be guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much different than planned, and we'll just, plain, have to do it again. Law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises, consistent with protocol, which we will do, immediately. I have spoken with all the representatives in charge of the event, and we will be rescheduling within 30 days." End quote. US agencies have since taken the shooter into custody following Trump's narrow escape, bringing some immediate relief after the tense situation. US media have identified the suspect who allegedly fired shots inside the hotel as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen from Torrance, California. As investigations continue into the motive and circumstances behind the shooting, Trump has reiterated his intention to reschedule the event within the coming month.